did you forget to put your underwear on? And I was like, no, I've got my underwear on. I've got slip on. But then I looked down and I was like, oh, I've put the wrong one on. It basically looked like I just had no underwear on. Really, really bad.
This week's guest on Off the Hanger is the gorgeous TV presenter Ria Hebden, who is also the founder of the Wonder Women TV network. We had a good chat about championing female-led businesses and why it's important to make sure you're always wearing the right underwear. Enjoy!
So Ria, thank you so much for being on Off the Hanger. I am very excited to find out about all the things in your wardrobe.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
So what have you been working on at the moment? Obviously, you're always very busy with Lorraine, aren't you?
Yes, I'm trying to think what I can share that I've been working on, because I get to go exclusively behind the scenes for a lot of programmes before they've come out, which is really exciting, but I'm often not able to talk about them. So I've definitely gone behind the scenes on something new that's coming to ITV soon, which was super exciting. And I've also been up to Manchester to do some filming with a soap star, so you'll see that coming out soon as well. But yeah, besides from that, obviously very busy with Lorraine, covering lots of the new entertainment shows and getting out and about. We've just recently had our Women of the Year awards, so I've been doing doorstop surprises to some very special women across the country who've done amazing things.
Amazing. And being on TV, obviously a lot of it is fashion and how you dress and having lovely outfits. Have you always been into fashion?
Yeah, I all my life I've really liked dressing up. I love fancy dress. I'm such a sucker for fancy dress. I'm quite lucky because my mum has always been very stylish. So I always used to steal her clothes when I was a teenager. We had the same size in trousers, so I could always nick her, really nice trousers from Kukai and Mango and hide them in my wardrobe when she wasn't looking. And yeah, I've just always had fun with fashion, never taken it too seriously, always gone for pieces that I love. And I've always gone for things that are really good quality as well. I'm really kind of anti fast fashion. I think if you spend on good quality pieces, they'll last a lifetime.
That's it. It's buy cheap, buy twice, isn't it? So if you invest that little bit more, they do last that bit longer.
Yeah, and I think also as you get older, I think you become a bit more socially conscious and you care a bit more about the brands that you buy from. And so for me, I consciously try to support female-led businesses. So I discover a lot of women on Instagram and I support those brands and I like what they're doing and, while juggling kids and their careers. So yeah, I try and proactively support women where I can.
Awesome. So what is your earliest fashion memory?
Oh,
is it something from your childhood that you wore that you can remember wearing?
Yes, there was two that popped to mind. So the first one is I used to wear when I was about 7 these really bright neon coloured like crop tops and cycling shorts, and they were kind of like a ribbed material, which is weird because it came back this summer in swimwear. I was like, that's interesting how fashion recycles itself. So the neon kind of crop tops and cycling shorts were the first memory. And then the second one was my mum and dad used to dress me and my younger brother in these kind of like comfortable jumpsuits. Mine was always white with navy blue dots on, and my younger brother's was navy blue with white dots on. And that's just something, when you said your earliest memory, I always remember whenever we would go out, people would always comment on how lovely we looked together.
Oh, that's so cute. You see, I'm one of 3 girls and my mum would do the same with us. We would all be in coordinated outfits. We've got all these pictures of the 3 of us wearing matching little outfits and matching dresses and even matching ET jumpers.
Oh, I love that. You're very cool.
Being a child of the 80s, matching ET jumper.
That's very cool. Love it.
So what's the piece in your wardrobe that gets the most compliments when you wear it?
Well, I've got quite a few things. Obviously, I do a lot of red carpet events, which is fabulous, and awards dues and stuff. So I'm quite lucky in the fact that I get to dress up and wear very bright, spectacular dresses. So I'd say the most recent one that I've worn that got people very excited was this. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a neon.
Wow.
It looks neon yellow, but it's actually more of a neon lime green. And it's from this really cool band called this really cool shop called Kiki Riki. Again, female led. And my stylist friend Stevie found this one for me, and I love it because it's like tulle. And when I got married, I actually had a tulle dress like that. So I've obviously got a bit of a thing for that. But I just love the way it kind of dips at the front and the back. And it's just, you're not going to miss me on the carpet with that on, are you really? I just feel really good when I wear bright colours. And I wore that actually to Venice to the film festival. And it was just a brilliant thing to wear because we were filming on the Palazzo and we had a real prominent spot. And you just feel fabulous when you wear things like that. So that's definitely a dress that I go to and I get a lot of compliments when I wear it.
Also, I imagine you really contrast against a red carpet wearing that. You're very, very noticeable against the red.
Yeah, it pops. And I would say that's also strategic because when you're on the red carpet, especially if you're with other media, you want to stand out so that the talent spot you. Often they spot my hair first, which is great. So they come to me anyway, but they're definitely going to spot you if you're wearing neon green.
I love it. So what's the most expensive piece that you own? You don't have to tell us how much.
Yeah.
You can do if you want to. But what's the most expensive thing you've owned?
I would say it's probably a handbag. I just think if you invest in really good quality handbags, they'll last a lifetime. And the one I have is one by Yves Saint Laurent. And I love it. I often take this to events and stuff. It's not too big. It's not too small. It's like perfect for a lip gloss, your phone and your keys.
That you've got a really classic bag because it's one of those pieces, it's very timeless. It's never going to date. It's not going to go out of fashion. And my bag game is quite weak, to be fair. I'm more of a shoe girl than a bag girl. But I think having a classic bag that goes with everything is such a great idea. Definitely.
I think if you can invest in one black one, it will go with everything for evening events. And then if you can get a nice, maybe a pastel coloured one for the summer, then that will tide you over for the summer season. But yeah, I do love Yves Saint Laurent. Can't get
They've just got beautiful pieces.
Yeah.
So what's the newest thing you've got in your wardrobe?
So the newest thing I have is, I don't know if I want to show you yet because I haven't worn it, but
ooh, exciting. No. Exclusive.
It's fabulous. I'll show you. It's a blue spangly dress.
Wow, look at that. That is incredible. Oh, with the frill as well.
It's the Sweetheart front. It's by Nadine Marabi, and they're my go-to brands for really swanky awards dues and events. And I'm wearing this to the NTAs, so the National Television Awards, just because it's so fabulous. I mean, I'm such a magpie. I love things that sparkle, and I also love the fluff. I just think it's a bit of fun, and
it's incredible.
Yeah.
I love Nadine Marabi. If you want sparkle, she is definitely the go-to person for something very glitzy, very glamorous. She's just incredible.
Yeah, I do. I feel really lovely in her pieces. They fit really well. And I just always have a really good night, get loads of compliments. And I just, you feel good. And I think anything that makes you feel good is a good look.
I think that's it, isn't it? Because I think fashion is one of those things that it can really change your mood. I know that if I'm having a really bad day, sometimes I'll just go get changed because I just think the clothes that I'm wearing have clearly got some bad energy in today. So I need to go put something else on, a bit brighter or a big print or something that's just going to have that bit more energy to it and make you feel better.
Yeah, and also I think it's about really well-fitting clothes. I think clothes that don't fit you properly can make you not feel comfortable. Often if I buy something and it doesn't fit right, if I really love it, I might pay 15 quid and ask a seamstress to tweak it for me. And I think that's a really underused resource in any community, which you can just pop down to your local dry cleaners and ask if they have a seamstress and they can tweak it for you. And they love it because creatively they get to do, make things better for you and ultimately you leave feeling happier. But for me, for sure, if the clothes don't fit properly, that's often when I either don't buy it or don't feel my best. So I've started hiring a seamstress here and now just to help me with little bits, add buttons to things, maybe add pockets to things, maybe take the leg up a little bit if things are too long. And you just feel great just with those little tweaks. And they're often not that expensive to get it amended.
That's it. I think even if, you are buying high street pieces and you get a blazer or whatever, just having it tailored in that little bit to fit your body shape makes all the difference to it. It goes from looking like something you've bought on the high street to something that has been custom made or from a designer brand.
Absolutely. I mean, I once bought this, it was photographed very well. I bought this dress that was like a sweetheart, really fitted, like, you know, like a bodycon dress. It was covered head to toe in like diamantes. It was so beautiful. And I wore it for the Screen Nation Awards. And I knew, you know, like Idris Elba was going to be there, John Boyega was going to be there. So it was really important that it fitted and looked great. And I ordered it from a website from China. And when it arrived, it was a disaster. It just was so wrong in the sizes in every area of my body. And then I had this last minute panic because I was like, you know, the awards are in 3 days. This dress I've waited weeks to arrive looks terrible. So I found this seamstress in West London. And I popped in, and these wonderful women were really honest with me. They were like, don't buy things from China.
You're like, hindsight's a great thing.
I'm telling you, I spent about £100 fixing this dress. But I tell you what, it's because they had to hand remove all of the diamantes to take it all in and then stitch them back on. But they did it, and it looked amazing. And I got to speak to John, I got to speak to Idris Elba, and it was so worth the money to fix it. But the key learning there was don't buy ill-fitting clothes.
No. And those Chinese websites never deliver what they promise.
No. You can't get it in a shop. Go with the brand that you've bought from before, and especially when it's such an important event. So now I'm much more organised. I give myself time, and I try stuff on, and we tweak them in advance. And then there's no stress. You just look forward to the events.
That's it. You don't need the stress when you've got a big event. You want your clothes to be helping you feel more confident, not hindering you.
Yeah.
So what's the most sentimental piece that you've got in your wardrobe?
Oh, got me there. Sentimental.
So is it something that somebody gave you, or maybe something that you've worn to an event?
Well, the thing is, with a lot of my clothes, I give them to charity afterwards. Or I'll pass them on to girlfriends. So I don't often keep things that were firsts. I don't really, like, everything's quite in the last year. I'm trying to think. Because I have my girlfriends around every couple of months, and I'm like, right, there you go, love ya. And they all
I love
help
that
themselves.
though. I love that though, because that's it. I think sometimes for people, you know, there isn't a sentimental attachment to clothing. Sometimes it is more of a functional relationship where it's like, right, you've done your job, I'm now going to pass you on to somebody else so that you can do the same job for them. Whereas I've got a few pieces in my wardrobe where I'm like, oh, I could never get rid of that because I remember the time that I wore it to this thing and I felt amazing and this happened. And yeah, so I think it's really interesting, people's relationships with clothes.
Yeah, no, that is very interesting. And the thing is, I do have a lot of dresses that I will never let go. But I wonder if it's a sentimental thing. It's often because it's just so fabulous. I need to wear it again.
And you don't know that you'd wear it again, but you might just pop it on in the house to wander about in for a bit.
I'm telling you, there are some clothes that you get where you just feel wonderful. And I just think, I can totally understand as a designer or a dressmaker why they do it, because how wonderful is that you could make something that makes someone feel so fabulous. And that's how I feel about a lot of the dresses that I own, is that I keep them, because the thought of letting them go is like, why would I do that when I might want to wear that again and feel fabulous again? But no, I don't really have one particular sentimental thing. The only sentimental clothes that I have of my babies, of when I brought them home from the hospital and stuff. Yeah,
like first shoes and things like that.
Yeah, first baby grows and the thing that I brought them home from the hospital that obviously I'll keep forever.
Oh, that's so sweet. What's the one thing in your wardrobe that you would say really sums you up?
Oh, this is going to make you laugh.
I'm excited already.
This.
Wow. You see, that is you, because you are so sparkly and that is just beautiful. I love that.
I love this. I literally just want to go, oh. So I'll tell you the story behind this. So it's a beautiful handmade kimono by Rosa Bloom, and it's got these beautiful velvet cuffs. And I actually met Rosa at Glastonbury Festival about 8 years ago, and she had this tiny little hut and a rail with sparkly hot pants and sparkly capes, and these girls dressed in these lovely outfits. And I literally was just like, oh my God, who are you? What is all of this? I want everything. And she just told me that it was like her passion, and she wanted to design this stuff and sell it. And I just thought, what a wonderful idea. Like, I just loved all of her things. So I said to her then, I'm totally going to buy something, I don't know what yet, because there was jumpsuits and like all in one place suits and all sorts. So my first thing that I bought from her was actually like a leotard, a sequined leotard, which I wore over black tights and little ankle boots at the festival. And then in the summer, if you're brave, might wear it just with some fishnets. But every year I've kind of, normally for a birthday or New Year's, bought myself one of her pieces. I like knowing that I'm supporting a young woman pursuing her passion. I also love the fact that the sequins are handmade by a team of women who live out in Indonesia, and they get 30% of everything that is sold. So again, it's like doing good for other women around the world. So for me, it's really purposeful fashion. And it just makes me feel fabulous. And so she brought this kimono out last year, and she does them in all different colours, but she's all very body positive. If you look on the website, there's loads of different shapes of women and on there. And I wore it to the Soho House Festival this summer, and literally got a million people like, where did you get that from? And
just everybody chasing you around going, where's that from? It's the best thing I've seen.
Yeah, so that is my outfit that I'm going to be buried in.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It is one of those things that you could hold it up and you go, who does this remind you of? I'm like, oh yeah, that's Ria.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I just remember I once wore a play suit from Rosa Bloom to it was the Royal Television Society's Christmas party at ITV, and I'll never forget an exec from Channel 5 said to me, if you go to the toilet and take that off and swap clothes with my colleague, I'll give you £500 to charity. And I said, the cheek of it, you should give me the charity £500 just for asking me. And I'm not taking it off because you'll tear all my sequins off.
Like, how rude. Like, what did they think you were going to do? Just stand in the toilets and wait for them to bring it back? You could have been there all night.
The cheek of it.
Rude. So do you have a fashion faux pas or a wardrobe malfunction you can tell us?
Yes, and it happened quite recently actually on Lorraine. So it was when Christine Lampard was covering for Lorraine through the summer holidays, and I had this really lovely, quite girly dress from Never Fully Dressed, which again is a female-led brand. The founder, Lucy, lives in Essex. And it's kind of coral, floral, really pretty, but you have to wear it with like an underslip. And I'd had a bit of a rushed morning, and I'd put the wrong nude underslip on. And so I sat there chatting away with Christine, everything was grand. And then when we'd finished, I got up to go, and the floor manager came running over, and she's like, Ria, did you forget to put your underwear on? And I was like, no, I've got my underwear on, I've got a slip on. But then I looked down and I was like, oh, I've put the wrong one on. It basically looked like I just had no underwear on. Really, really bad. I did, but they kind of like shooed me out the studio and like ushered me into the
Somebody's just guarding you as they're walking past you like this.
Yeah, because when I looked in the mirror in my dressing room, it totally looked like I had no pants on. So the learning there is, while I had the right nude underwear on, you do need certain contoured underwear for certain dresses, and I put the wrong one on that day. So yeah, that was my fashion.
Oh, I bet the Daily Mail loved that, didn't they?
Well, because I sat down, luckily you couldn't see, but if, for instance, that was a red carpet moment, that could have been disastrous.
Oh no, bless you. So can you show us your favourite pair of shoes?
Oh yes, right, hang on a second. Oh, I've actually got two because I couldn't decide. So the first one is from Sophia Webster.
Ah, look at those.
They're quite
amazing.
High.
They are high.
But if you take away that bit, look, they're only, what?
They're still relatively high, even without the platform. But I think, they're amazing. Because how tall are you?
I'm 5'4", so I'm like.
Oh, by the time you get those on, they're super tall.
So I love these. I bought those for myself. What I tend to do is, if I do something big, as a little reward, I'll always buy myself something as a little memory. So I think I bought myself this. What should I do? I'd hosted an awards do or something, so I treated myself to those. So I feel fabulous with those on. But then the other ones that I love are by Aquazzura.
Oh, I love them.
These
With
little
the
fluffers.
fluff. They're amazing.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story about these. So when I was on Dancing on Ice, when we were filming the promo, you know, for the advert to announce the coupling, I wore these when I was dancing with Lukash. And the costume department on the show were like, whatever you do, like just quickly take those off. Don't let the other girls see them because I don't want them to think they're all going to get Aquazzura shoes. I had to tell everyone, don't worry, they're mine. I haven't been given them. Just because
As a stylist, I feel that heavily. The amount of times with models, I'm like, don't tell the other models that you're wearing this because I don't have the same for everybody. I've only got one pair of these, so just pretend that they're from Zara and it'll be fine.
Exactly. So they're my favourite shoes at the minute.
Oh, I love them. We seem to have a fluffy shoe theme running through so far on Off the Hanger that we have had a few pairs of fluffy shoes.
Really? How funny is that?
Yeah. I think it's just because they end up being people's favourites because they're so different.
Yeah, and they're very feminine and they're just a bit of fun. And I've got to say, these are so comfortable. I was a bit worried at first that they might be a bit killer, but they're like slippers. So you do feel kind of very girly in them. So I do like those very much, yeah.
I love them, and I love the colour because they go with everything.
Mm.
So what is your dream fashion piece that you are lusting after? That you've not got in your wardrobe, but you'd love to have?
So at the minute, it's this beautiful gold shawl from Jenny Packham. And funnily enough, I've just been speaking to Vicky Gill, who is the costume designer stylist on Strictly and on Dancing on Ice. She's an amazingly talented woman. And she had her very first job at Jenny Packham. So I was kind of talking to her about it, saying, oh, do you know, is it worth kind of investing? Because it's a lot of money. And I do think sometimes it's nice to treat yourself, but also sometimes it can be a bit bonkers expensive. And so I was kind of asking her, do you think I could maybe get someone to replicate it and make it slightly different? Because then, you know, it's your own quirky version. She was kind of umming and ahhing with me saying, oh, I know what you mean, because sometimes if it's a special occasion, it's nice to treat yourself. And it's like a little reward for something that you've done maybe, but also how many times are you going to wear it? And if you do buy it, what you could do is then put it on one of the renting platforms and then it gets another life and other people get to feel fabulous in it. So I'm still stuck on what I want to do with that because I've got a birthday coming up and I want to feel spectacular. So I'm just kind of weighing it up. But I do think it is important to also be sensible. Like I do think sometimes it doesn't have to have an expensive price tag to make you feel wonderful. And sometimes it's just about shopping around and spending time looking at new brands. So I think I've got time. So I'm going to, you know, give it some time and have a little mooch and see what we can come up with.
And there's so many rental sites available at the moment. I think that's what's really nice. Over the past couple of years, there's been an influx of new ones opening. So it's got a real kind of wider range of choice. So if you have got an event or something, it's no longer about spending a massive amount of money on something that you might only wear once. You can potentially rent something, which I think is brilliant.
Absolutely. And there's a really good site actually that I looked at last year called By Rotation.
Yes.
And I mean, it's very, very reasonable to hire a really nice dress for like 50 quid. You can have it for 3 days. So, you know, I'm just thinking a bit more just intelligently about, you know, big investments and if it's worth having. I mean, I know I would absolutely love it and feel amazing for the rest of my life in it. And I would totally wear it again. I would totally pass it on to my daughter. But at the same time, it's like you could actually just rent that. And so I do think, you know,
it's also that balance of waiting and seeing if it goes in the sale or if it turns up at the sample sale. It's one of those that, you know,
you might be able to
sales. Where are they? There's some lists. There's a list. There's like email lists that you can subscribe to that tell you all the sample sales in London.
I need
and
the
they send you emails on a weekly basis, and it's just it's incredible.
Oh,
I love a good sample sale, but then that's when I take advantage of the dry cleaners and the alterations.
Yes,
because if you buy something, quite often the sample sales, like the trousers have all been made for like 6-foot models, and I'm like, oh, my little leg's going to need some help there. So it's great to be able to take them to the dry cleaners and pay a tenner and get them taken up.
Well, yeah, and as long as they're slightly longer or bigger, you can make those alterations. It's if they're too small that you've got a problem there, haven't you? Because it's harder to add material to stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll email you with all the sample sale list of where to go, because there's so many of them. Oh, but thank you so much for showing us around your wardrobe. If people want to look out for you, where should they look out for you, other than Lorraine, obviously?
Oh, on my Instagram, riahebden.com. And also I run a women's network called Wonder Women TV, so you can check out what we're doing there at wonderwomentv.com.
And listen to your very good podcast as well.
Yes, of course.
Which I love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much.